Hey, gang. And first of all, I'd like to show you my new night marathon shirt that finally came in from Fright Rags. It was actually supposed to come in over the weekend. It got held up in Indianapolis, but now it's here, and I'm really loving this design. I mean, I love Joe Bob as always. Sorry, wrong side. But I also love Darcy with the skeleton and they're eating popcorn. So yeah, I'm really liking this design. I dig some of the Joe Bob designs more than I do others. I like them all, but some of them are just much cooler than others. Let's see who we got in here tonight for Landis Confidential. Hey TC, my dear husband's in here with the heart emojis. Blissful. It's good to see you in here. And Blissful says she loves the shirt, so it gets Blissful seal of approval. Um, but tonight, in just a little bit, it's just going to be me, I think, tonight, folks. So I'm going to be talking about Oscar, which is a John Landis movie that I'd never seen before today. And an old favorite of mine that I had forgotten how much I enjoyed, which is Innocent Blood. I don't have a Blu-ray of this. I'm not even sure if there probably is a Blu-ray somewhere. But I hadn't seen Innocent Blood for years and just forgot just how much fun. Actually, this would be, in my opinion, Innocent Blood, and I'm not going to talk too much about it till I get to it. But it'd be a great double feature with An American Werewolf in London, which is also another John Landis film that's just absolutely fantastic. Um, so, both of these movies tonight, amazingly enough, have something to do with gangsters in them. Just different themes running through them. So I just want to remind everybody that I should be doing another Everybody Wants England tomorrow night. It will be premiering at some point tomorrow night because that will be a pre-recorded video. I'll be talking about a couple of Robert Englund films. Yes, we're still doing Robert Englund films. We got a few more to get through before the Everybody Wants England series is done. I think I just got a message. Sorry, gang. Just checking to see what that is. Okay. I'll have to check that message later. But Wednesday, I'm not sure what I will be doing apples and oranges on. I'm still, working out the details, but I'm planning on an apples and oranges live stream on Wednesday. Thursday will be, oh gosh, I forgot what I'm doing on Thursdays now. Jeez Louise. That's Kubrick, I think. So I'll be doing some more Kubrick. Sorry, just had a brain lapse there. And Friday, I'm planning on, because I'm back on my regularly scheduled work day. That was hard to get out. So I'm planning on me and Candace, as long as everything goes well, uh, talking about some horror comedy films. So stay tuned for that. That'll be a kind of a continuation of the Apples and Oranges show that me and Chris did. Now, some of you may have noticed that I did not get to do my Phenomena watch along and that it has been rescheduled for next week or this coming weekend. And it will probably be on Sunday. I probably won't have one on Saturday. And because I usually skip a week, but I hated to make you guys and gals wait any longer for the Phenomena watch along. So I'm probably going to do it this Sunday starting at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Um, So that's what's coming up the rest of this week. So let's get to the movies at hand tonight. So first off is Oscar, which I mean, I just watched it. I know what it's about, but I want to refresh myself on the people that were in these, because both this one and Innocent Blood were full of recognizable um, actors and actresses. So Oscar came out in 1991. It's an hour and 49 minutes long, slightly longer than your average film. It's only PG, um, which I guess I didn't really see any nudity, or there wasn't a lot of cussing or anything in it. So, but there were a lot of Landis people that had been in other John Landis films, um, as well as other people that you would recognize. So we've got Sylvester Stallone, who plays Angelo Snaps Provolone. Yes, his last name is Provolone. And so he is a gangster. He's not a very good guy, and he comes to his dying father's bedside, and his father uh proceeds to slap the hell out of him and make him, and this is on his deathbed, and makes him promise to go straight, to not be, don't shame the family anymore, don't be killing people and stealing and doing all these bad things. So he makes this promise to his dad that he's going to go straight. So he ends up taking the guns away from all of his um, uh, cohorts in crime, basically. And one guy has more than a gun. He has, just tons of weapons. There's one very funny scene where he says, give me all your weapons, lay all these weapons out. And so he does, and he has he has a pile of them, I will say that. Um so we've got Sylvester Stallone, we've got Peter Riegert, who played Boone on Animal House. I mean, he's been on other stuff. On this, he plays Aldo. Joey Travolta is in this. Yvonne DiCarlo plays Aunt Rosa. Um, People will definitely remember Yvonne DiCarlo. Don Amici plays Father Clemente. Richard Romanus is in this as Vendetti. Eddie Bracken plays Five Spot Charlie. Kurtwood Smith from That 70s Show and a bunch of other stuff. He plays Lieutenant Toomey. Vincent Spagno, which I knew when I saw him, I was like, that's the guy that plays Matt in Indian Summer. If you haven't seen Indian Summer, that's a great film. You need to watch it. He plays Anthony Rossano, or Antony, as they call him in the film. He's a CPA. Marissa Tomei plays Lisa Provolone. She plays Snaps' daughter. William Atherton is in this. Mark Metcalf, who played Niedermeyer in Animal House. Tim Curry is in this as Dr. Poole. I was like, whoa, even Tim Curry's in this. Linda Gray plays Roxanne. Marshall Bell. Kirk Douglas is even in this, playing Snaps' father. So you even see Kirk Douglas in here. Joe Dante, sorry, is the face on the cutting room floor. But there is just like tons and tons of people in this film, and I enjoyed it. Not as much as I did Innocent Blood, but I did enjoy it. It was something different. It still had a lot of the hallmarks that John Landis has in his films. There was some wacky comedy, there was some misdirection, there was some confusion galore taking place in Snaps's house because his daughter, played by Marissa Tomei, is wanting to marry the chauffeur that Snaps ended up firing, um, because she's in love with him. And so the maid, who also gets fired during the course of the film, well, actually, she says she quits. Nora, she tells Marissa Tomei's character, she's like, "Here's how you do it. I saw this in a movie once." She said, "You tell your father you're pregnant." And there's a lot of confusion because he thinks that Anthony, his accountant, is the one that has impregnated his daughter. So first he wants to kill him, and then he's okay with it, and then he finds out that Anthony's stolen a bunch of money from him, like $50,000. Actually, he stole $50,000 from him twice. And so a lot of comedy in this. Not really so much a violent film. Hey, Candace, because like I said, this is only PG. We're going to get to the more violent of the two films here in just a second. But I enjoyed Oscar for what it was. I can't say that it's my favorite John Landis film, but I think it is definitely worth a watch or two. I would recommend it, especially for you connoisseurs of Landis or completists of John Landis. Sorry, I can't talk today. It's a Monday. Um, I think that most everybody will get something to enjoy out of this film. In fact, between the two of these films, I loved picking out all the different people um, in this. I'd be like, "Oh, there's so and so." And then when Tim Curry showed up, I was like, "Heck, I didn't even know Tim Curry was in this movie. This is great." Because I'd seen a lot of the Animal House alumni showing up, Mark Metcalf and Peter Riegert and people like that. So definitely one to watch. I'm not going to give it a 5. Y'all are probably saying, "Well, that's a shocker, Dana." But I will at least give it a 4 deadites out of 5. I thought it was entertaining. It's not one, honestly, it's not one that I'm going to run right back out and watch right after seeing it. You know, Innocent Blood, on the other hand, I almost wanted to just go back and just watch it again, just because I had so much fun with rewatching it. But Oscar is a good watch, a good watch or two. Um, Again, if you told me to list my top 2 John Landis films, I probably would not put that one up there, but it was a good little film. So let's move on to the coup de grace for tonight, in my opinion, which is Innocent Blood. I knew I liked this movie, but now I love this movie. After waiting years and rewatching it. See, there was a time, as I said, this is a DVD. There was a time, like I'm talking about way back when I still lived at home with my parents, and I would buy DVDs and I would buy Blu-rays later on. I never did get 4Ks until after Steve and I were married. We'd been married a few years, and then we got the setup, or I got the setup for 4K, and then we started getting the 4Ks when they came out. But primarily, a lot of the stuff I was getting, especially early on when I was still living with my parents, was DVDs, because that's what there was. We went from VHS to DVDs. And so I started amassing a huge collection of DVDs at that time. And so some of these I had seen before and I would buy them so that I could have them in my collection. Others were pretty much blind buys. Innocent Blood was one of those blind buys. And I remembered enough about it. But it's been over 10 years, honestly, since I've seen this. I remembered enough about it to know that I enjoyed it. But as many of you guys and gals know, and I know, sometimes when we're younger and we watch something and then we're an adult and we watch something, or even if we're, in our early 20s and then you wait till you're in your 40s like I am now and you watch something, sometimes it's just not the same. But for me, Innocent Blood was even better this time around. I cannot say enough good things about this. Now, Innocent Blood might be a little bit long in the tooth for people, but it's just so entertaining. It does not feel like it's 112 minutes, right? And this movie also, from 1992, and it definitely is rated R. This one's an hour and 52 minutes. Okay, so it's almost 2 hours long. So Marie, played by Anne Paralod. Anne, if you ever see this, if I massacre your name, please forgive me. Anthony La Pagila, I'm probably massacring his name. Robert Loggia is in this. Robert Loggia plays a mean SOB in this too. Let's see who else we got here. Marshall Bell's also in this one. Leo Burmeister. Angela Bassett plays U.S. Attorney Sinclair in this. Don Rickles plays Manny Bergman. Tom Savini is in this in a small part as a sleazy news photographer. Frank Oz is in this as a pathologist. Forrest J. Ackerman plays the stolen car man. Sam Raimi, I had forgotten that Sam Raimi was in this as the Roma Meats Man. Dario Argento, I had forgotten about that too. Dario Argento plays a paramedic in this. So Steve Johnson plays an orderly. Linnea Quigley is a nurse. Terry Weigel shows up in this, guys, as a Melody Lounge dancer. And if you don't know who Terry Weigel is, you're probably not of the male persuasion. I'll just say that. I'm sure Steve knows who Terry Weigel is. So I just wanted to let you know that this one also is chock full of familiar faces, right? So we have like a really vicious mob boss, Sal Michelli, played by Robert Loggia. And like I said, he is one sadistic, mean SOB in this. As I'm sure many mob bosses are and were. But Marie, played by Anne Paralod, is a vampire. If you haven't figured this out, it's a vampire film who imperils Pittsburgh because she fails to kill one of her victims and she loses her lover because of it. And she says at the beginning of it, she's, for you guys, she's walking full frontal nudity around her apartment when we first see her. And she's talking about how choosy she is about her food. She refers to it as food. And she has certain rules that she uses when choosing her food. Okay. And I love the way John Landis sets up these kills in this movie because, especially when you're watching it for the first time, like, she's going to attack. But if you're thinking vampires in the traditional sense, this ain't vampires in the traditional sense. This is more like from dusk till dawn vampires here. Only even it's got a I think it's I love From Dusk Till Dawn. There's no doubt about that. Vampire, you know, strippers at the Titty Twister bar, and you got George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino as criminals, and eh, that movie's awesome too. But I think John Landis also adds a little bit of a different layer because you know that, like for instance, when Marie sets her sights on Sal, and she knows, yeah, he's mean, he's scum, nobody will miss him if I, feed off of him. So you know that when she is getting ready to attack, you're expecting her to bite him in the neck or rip his throat out. But boy, I had boys and girls, I had forgotten just how startling it was. It's kind of like the scene in American Werewolf in London where David has the nightmare about the Nazi werewolves coming to attack and kill his family. It's that abrupt and shocking because her eyes glow. And sometimes when she talks, she sounds like a man. She has a very deep voice. But usually right before she's about to feast on her victim, her eyes will glow and she'll just like that, and the noise sounds very similar to when the creature attacks the guy in the pickup truck in the Twilight Zone, the movie, like wraparound story. um Leslie, you say, how have I not watched this movie? I've watched Oscar. I know it for me. It was the other way around. I had seen Innocent Blood years ago, refreshed myself tonight with it, but Oscar I had never seen. I had heard of it, but I had never seen it. And by the way, if you want to watch Oscar for free, it is on YouTube right now. But Anthony LaPaglia, his character is a cop who's going undercover to try to, bring these mob bosses down. And so he has gotten really close to Sal, but then they figured out, he was a cop. And so Sal comes back from the dead, and causes havoc all over the city. He infects vampirism in his cohorts. And so you got a whole cavalcade of very vicious vampires roaming the streets in Pittsburgh, taking victims when they can. There is comedy in this. I'm not going to say that it's um, doesn't have its comedic moments. And there's something else too, and this was near the end when the end credits were starting. So Marie gets her man, and Anthony LaPaglia, I have such terrible time. Anthony LaPaglia, and if TJ was in here, he would correct me all over the place, I'm sure. But she finds her man, and not a man that she wants to feed on. There's actually a scene where they're making love, and she wants him to tie her up and prevent her from biting him during sexual activity. Um, because she loves him. She doesn't want he's not food. He's her lover. And so the ending scene, they're going to stay in a hotel room. And then that's when the credits roll. And they start flashing the names of the actors and actresses over their face, and a song is playing. And I just have always loved that. And they will pause them where somebody's smiling or something like that. And I just enjoyed that. I hadn't seen that for a little while, so it's enjoyable. I liked it in Dazed and Confused and other movies that did that at the end of the film. I don't know, it just adds an extra special touch to it. So this has scary scenes. It has comedic scenes. I think it has everything that a movie watcher could possibly want. Um, in fact, this might be one of the horror comedies that I talk about when me and Candace do our next Friday Foolish. Blissful, you say you have another movie to watch. It sounds great. It is great, Blissful, and I shame on me for not rewatching this sooner. I mean, that's all I can say. In fact, let me see if it is on YouTube as well, so that well, you can buy it or rent it. But as always, I would check, things like Tubi and stuff, um, to see if you can locate it. Um, because this is definitely one, no pun intended, to sink your teeth into, and that is why I am going to give Innocent Blood 5 deadites out of 5, because like I said, upon rewatching it, I was like, I want to turn around and rewatch this thing all over again, but I had to come back here and do this stream, so can't do that. But I think I'm going to make this one of my pre-Halloween watches this year. I think I'm going to add that to my canon of movies that I watch around Halloween, because it does, in a way, have a fall like feel to it, or it does to me anyway. Um, Thank you, Blissful. Blissful says, please hit the thumbs up. Thank you. And Steve's got a little, I'm not sure, a little explosive thing there. There are explosions in this, and vampires roasting, and all of that good stuff. Um, but I've talked about 30 minutes. Not all of it about the movies, but I've been on here about 30 minutes. I can probably stay on here, another minute or so, in case anybody has any questions about either of these movies, or questions about my channel in general. If you didn't hear me talking about what's coming up this week, I could, let you know. I'd be willing to take your questions now. But if nobody has any questions in about a minute or so, I'll probably call it a night. Thank you, Tom. Tom says the Night Marathon t-shirt is great. I love all your visuals. Well, thank you, Tom. I appreciate that a lot. I've had, compliments on the thumbnails and things like that. And that's all good feedback, because sometimes a very, or at least in my case, a very vibrant visual of some sort, whether it's a thumbnail or an intro, um, or what have you. Sometimes that's what will draw people's attention to either your channel, or a certain episode on your channel, a certain stream, a certain video. Thank you, Blissful. Blissful says, I'm loving all the diverse content you're putting out, Dana. But guys and gals, I guess I'm going to call it a night while I'm ahead of the game. I've got a few things to take care of before, I sit down for the night and actually get a little rest. But I want to thank everybody for joining me tonight as I talked about a couple more John Landis films. I'm glad that people are enjoying Landis Confidential. And stay tuned for Kubrick Among Us on Thursday. Like I said, Tuesday will be Everybody Wants England. And that will be a pre-recorded one. But Apples and Oranges should be Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Thursday will be another live stream, the Kubrick Among Us one. I'm planning on that also being at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Friday Foolish, as long as everything goes well with me and Candace, will be at 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday. And then we'll finally, if all goes well, keep your fingers crossed, folks. The Phenomenal watch along at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday this weekend. So, I echo Blissfuls. Have a beautiful night, everyone. So y'all have a fantastic rest of your Monday night. Chill out a little bit. Watch a favorite movie or two. Maybe hunt up Innocent Blood if you're like Blissful and you want to seek that one out and watch it or rewatch, whatever the case may be. But I'm off like a dirty shirt. Again, this shirt's not dirty. Came brand new today, and I haven't gotten anything on it, which is amazing. But before I get off here for the night, I want to remind everybody, as I always do, to be kind to one another and blaze that trail. Have a fantastic night, folks, and I'll see everybody next time.